Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
Alright, let's go.
So today I give you the first of a double dose of movies that are based on one of the greatest novel writers of the modern age, and that of course is Stephen King. And the movie that I'm coming to you guys today with is a review for The Dark Tower, starring Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey, and young actor Tom Taylor. So this was a movie that I really didn't know of whether or not I wanted to see it, because of the fact that, while I do enjoy a lot of novels from Stephen King, and some I really don't care for, this was a series of books that I have not read. And a lot of people say that it is one of his greatest epic sagas, because it is a beautiful mixture of science fiction, fantasy, magic, and classic western and supernatural. But of course, one of the few things that I kinda saw coming was the feedback that people were going to be giving The Dark Tower in terms of reviews. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a terrible rating. Most people who went to see it before everybody else thought that it wasn't a great movie. But then, little by little, there was a decent review here, a give it a chance review here, a lower your expectations here, a go with your open mind there. So I said to myself, you know what? This movie is also 94 minutes long. I'm gonna bite the bullet and I'm gonna see this movie. So here's my thoughts on The Dark Tower. It is not a great film, but it is not horrible either. I went in with my expectations practically to the ground, and I think it's because of the fact that I came with those expectations that I got a movie that I did leave entertained and enjoyed to a certain degree. One of the few things that I loved about this film was the acting. I thought that everyone gave solid performances, including Tom Taylor, who plays Jake Chambers, the young boy who finds the gunslinger. He is as good as a child actor can possibly get. He wasn't spectacular, but you definitely wanted to follow him on his journey. Idris Elba, absolutely fantastic, even though I still feel that it's not one of his strongest performances. Still, a character as the gunslinger, thought he was a great hero to watch, and Matthew McConaughey is definitely the highlight of this film in terms of the acting, because you could definitely tell that he was having so much fun playing the villain known as the Man in Black. Also, from an acting standpoint, especially between Jake and the gunslinger, there is a really strong bond that you can definitely appreciate and relate to. It sort of had a Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan vibe, or maybe even a Terminator, John Connor kind of vibe. It's one of those really good vibes and relationships that you have seen in many movies in the past. And that's another one of the major positives that I took away from this film, and that's the fact that I felt that this movie was sort of a nostalgic feel. It reminded me of those just turn your brain off, cheesy 80s fantasy science fiction flicks. Like, it felt like a Golden Child, or a Labyrinth, or a Howard the Duck, or Big Trouble in Little China. I really felt that nostalgic 80s science fiction fantasy film feel, and that was one of the main reasons why I had a decent time with this film. There also was a lot of homage to Stephen King's past work in film. If you are a Stephen King fan, it is definitely something that you will recognize and appreciate. And yeah, it's also a very quick film, so it's not something that's going to really drag or make you really feel drained by the time that you end this film, but that, unfortunately for me, is the weakest part, and that's why this movie is far from perfect. A movie that is based on a book series that is supposed to be this epic long tale, the fact that it was sort of culminated in only a 94-minute film left you much to be desired. There was a very big lack of character development. Everything seemed super rushed. As entertaining as it was, I still sort of craved a lot more. I wanted to know more about the past of the gunslinger, as well as the Man in Black. I wanted to know the relationship that these two had, the relationship that Jake had with his father, the relationship that the gunslinger had with his father, with the similarities between the two of them that made their bonds so strong. A little bit more into the purpose of the Man in Black and why he was doing what he was doing in this film, and of course a little bit more about the Dark Tower. And in 94 minutes you really cannot get all of that development that you want. And unfortunately, because of how this movie was at the very end, I feel that there's not going to be a franchise, so I don't think we're really going to get any more than what we really got in this movie. However, there are rumors that there is going to be a Dark Tower television series, and of course if it's picked up by a Cinemax, a Showtime, or an HBO, I feel that we will get a Westworld kind of vibe, or even if Netflix picks it up, we'll probably get something out of like a Stranger Things kind of feel for it. But do I feel that this is a movie that you should skip in theaters? I feel that if you did, you wouldn't lose sleep over it. It's a movie that is fun to watch and will definitely leave you entertained. If you're a fan of the books, you probably will despise it. I will say, if anything that I took away from this movie is that I really want to read these books now, because there's so much more about this universe that I am very much interested in. Is it a movie that I'd like to see again? Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it again because of all the nostalgia that I felt and how entertained I felt by it. But is it a movie that I'd want to see millions of times? Probably not. Is it a movie that I'd want to own on DVD? It's not something that I'm going to rush to Best Buy for on day one and purchase it for 20 bucks. If I found it on a super discount rack for $3 to $6, maybe I would consider adding it to my collection. But if I didn't, again, wouldn't be too much off of my back. I'd say if you want to have a good time at the theaters, definitely go see The Dark Tower. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Put your comments in the box below, and let's discuss The Dark Tower, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.